I'm Carol Duvall, and today we're going to show you an amazing way to transform your night lights. Then we're going to take a trip into the wonderful world of decoupage. And you'll see how to add color to your wardrobe with a quick and easy watercolor technique. So join us, won't you? I think you'll be glad you did. If you use a nightlight in your home, you'll enjoy this first project. Welcome to the show. Here to show us a very simple way to create charming night lights to lighten any dark corner is Jane Nesbitt from Pfaff American Sales. And welcome to the show, Jane.
Thank you, Carol. It's nice to be here.
Well, it's been too long. What is it with the night lights all of a sudden? They've been around for years, and now you see them every place, all decorated and fancy things done to them.
Makes it much more fun in your home to have something a little more flashy than just a plain old night light.
That looks decent during the daytime, too. Anyway,
exactly.
And these are examples of some of those that you have done.
That's right.
And we're doing one with a little heart on it.
That's right.
Tonight.
That's right.
In fact, we have a picture of it turning on. There it is. Okay. And the material you've used is roof flashing?
Exactly. You can just go to the hardware store and buy aluminum flashing. It comes on a roll, and that's what we're using.
Oh, this has been one of my standbys for years before they came out with these embossing foils and things. So
Exactly.
I know roof flashing. So, okay, where do we start with
Where
this?
we start is we first make a pattern. So if normally if you just take a piece of paper, fold it in half and decide what shape you want, that's how you make your pattern. Okay. And this is just a rectangle with a half moon on top. So once we've done that,
and I see you, of course, cut out the
and
area,
I cut out the
center.
center so that that's where the nightlight would shine through the most. Then you're going to lay it right down on your aluminum flashing, take your marker, and just trace around it so that you know what shape you want to cut out.
And you usually need a permanent marker to make that stick to the metal.
As long as you can see it.
Yes,
and not rub away, and permanent marker helps do that. Then you're ready to simply cut it. And you would not want to use your regular fabric scissors, but craft scissors.
No.
And you see how easy it is just to cut?
Yes.
So you just simply cut it out.
I'm wondering, some of this embossing foil, well, actually the tooling foil, have you ever worked with that?
I haven't, but I think it would work great.
I think it would too, but this is great because you said it's just at your hardware store.
Just at your hardware store. Once you've done that, then you're ready to punch some holes in it. And instead of taking a hammer and nails, I like to use the sewing machine.
I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Now, do you have to use some special needles, I think, for this?
We simply use a regular size 80. And if you start to hear the machine working a little harder, you might need a new one. But that's just your standard needle.
Oh, I was going to say, because I don't know one needle from another. That's the one I would be sewing my fabric on.
Exactly. It's the most commonly used size that there is. So you simply put it in the machine and stitch.
No thread?
No thread. That's correct. No thread. And you heard it work just a little bit right there.
Yes,
But
yes.
It didn't hurt anything. So now my stitch is done.
Turn that, you did a heart.
I did a heart.
How did you do a heart? You did do that again. Could you do that again?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll just stick it right in and stitch. And if it's working a little hard, that's okay.
Oh my
and
goodness,
there's your heart again.
Oh,
And it's simply that easy.
You cheated. I didn't see your hands going like this.
No, you could do that. If you just had a straight stitch machine, you could simply do a straight stitch.
You've got that
but
programmed.
I have it from the stitch of the machine.
Okay.
And you want to choose outline stitches. You don't want a satin stitch.
No, I
don't
would
want to
not
put
think
too many
so.
holes in.
But I could. You said I could just do a straight. I mean, you don't have to do a
heart.
heart.
You sure could. All you have to do is just go right to your straight stitch, do the stitch.
So if I don't have a pattern on there, I can just do this and this.
And
however
simply
I'm
do one
able to move
and move it. And several of the samples are just simply a straight stitch.
Okay. So after we've got that would give
Once
me a
you've
heart
done
attack,
that,
though. I'll tell you that.
Exactly. Then you're ready to cut out the center.
Okay.
And to get it started, what I found was the easiest was to take a craft knife and simply make a wedge. Because I like to still use my scissors. I have better control, but you can't get the point of the scissor in there to start cutting. So we just simply cut to the corner and start trimming. And you would simply cut out your entire square.
So we have it like this.
And you have it just like this. Now the next step is to back it with a design. Since I have an embroidery machine, that's what I did. I simply did the embroidery, which is right here. If you use nylon organdy, you don't have to worry about the heat of the light bulb.
Oh.
We use a 4-watt light bulb, so you don't have the chance of it getting too hot and burning. But the nylon would only melt, would never flame. So once you've had it cut out, then you're ready to turn it to the back side and center it over your hole. Take a little hot glue, and I just dab it in the corner.
Oh, don't do the whole thing.
Okay. But
I'm asking you that.
You just need to do the corners.
Okay.
And dab it in to get it, caught there.
I'm anxious to see how this gets on our little nightlight.
And that's it.
Does it make a difference?
Now, there's 2 different basic night lights that you can buy. You can buy just the glow one. That's the easiest because you simply put the glue on here and slap it right down. You're done. However, if you use the one with the little shade, you take the shade off, and you also have to have a bracket because there's no way. That's what this is. Hardware store all over again.
Oh,
it's like a pipe holder. I don't know the official term, but we simply dab a little more glue here and here, and just put it into place. And you're going to want to pay attention to center it. Once you've done that, unscrew your light bulb and stick it in, and you're all set, ready to go.
And then you just plug it in.
You just plug it in.
Let's look at these. Let's look at these because these are so cute. Did you paint these?
I did. Just take enamel spray paint, once again from the hardware store, and you can do any color you want, or you could just leave it plain.
And you can cut big ones and little ones and stitch straight or crooked.
Any shape that you want. And if you didn't have an embroidery machine, you could do handwork,
or you could just
watercolor.
Great ideas, Jay. These are really cute.
It was fun.
And save you from the $40 some of them cost in the stores. Now don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to visit with a gaggle of découpeurs. Welcome back. Well, decoupage, the true art of decoupage, can really be extremely complicated and very sophisticated. There are a variety of different effects that can be achieved if you know the right techniques. And here is one of those techniques that really creates a fascinating effect. Decoupage is the art of cutting out paper and arranging it to decorate the surface of an object. Often the composition is finished with many layers of varnish. Sometimes the work is displayed under glass. This type of decoupage is two-dimensional. However, there is another type where paper is used to create three-dimensional art. It's called elevation.
What you're doing is raising things away from the background and making it look as realistic as you can. I would liken it to a three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle. You cut it into different pieces and you assemble it back together so that it becomes an elevated replica of itself.
At a recent gathering of the National Guild of Découpeurs in Stowe, Vermont, there were many beautiful examples of this elegant craft on display for the public. Among the works represented were these miniature Victorian houses created by master craftsman Joanne Sartor.
Elevations are my absolute favorites. I've always loved anything dimensional, and I will sort of be drawn to the dimensional. A few years ago, I noticed some work was done by another artist in Victorian magazine, and I looked at it and I thought, you know, I wonder if I could do that. So I tried. The way that I start a composition is by looking at pictures in a lot of different books. I've taken photographs, and then I'll see a doorway here, I'll see a window here, I'll see a porch rail here, and I'll sort of put them together. The Victorian houses are really a layering process, so it sort of builds. And when I get to the end, sometimes I surprise myself because I haven't planned something, and then I look and say, oh, maybe this will work.
Elevations such as these require a pair of sharp scissors, a steady hand, and an understanding of how to create shape and depth from two-dimensional paper.
Start at the top, work towards your bottom. I flatten the scissors right next to the paper and it curls away from it, like that. Okay.
Dee Overduin teaches classes in a paper cutting technique called feathering.
Like that. Flatten your scissors. The technique was called feathering, and we use it on a number of different things. Obviously, we use it on birds. We do it on hair, on people, anything that needs a fluffy effect that has little pieces cut in different places. Just take little slices off it. A lot of time is spent studying your print to see how you're going to do it. There are 3 thistles on the picture. Okay? When you look at a picture, get as much out of it as you can. Say if it has veins on a leaf, try and trace them so that gives more realism. You strive for realism. After you've shaped it and colored it, then you're ready to glue it down, either on a base print that's mounted or on a base that you create yourself. Never pick a project that you don't like, because you take so many hours to complete it that it becomes horrifying if you don't like it. You pick one out that you think is going to look good, that you will enjoy having in your house. I display my work sometimes at different craft shows, and people will come by and they'll walk by and they'll take a look and they'll look again and they'll say, "Where did you get the feathers?" Of course, that makes my day. That means I did a good job.
Don't you love watching those ladies? Now, up next, how to add a bit of color to your wardrobe with a fun new watercolor technique. Welcome back. Are you looking for a fail-proof way to express the creativity that's just penned up inside you, waiting for the chance to emerge and be free? Well, look no further. The solution lies within my next guest. Who better to set you free from the change of your artistic limitations than the one and only Little Miss Hot Potato, Mary O'Neill. Welcome to the show, Miss Mary O'Neill.
My titles.
I look forward to your visits because our producer waxes so poetic when writing your introductions.
And I appreciate it, and I especially like Little Miss.
Little Miss, yes,
I'll
yes.
grab
so
on anything I can.
I love this shirt.
It's a lot of fun.
It is terrific. Crazy, wild, wonderful colors and designs and patterns. What made you think of this one in the middle of the night, I'm sure?
You know what? I was working on some other shirts, and I had a piece of tissue paper that just happened to be by my art table, and I liked the idea, and I just sort of absorbed that idea and tried to transfer it to my own shirt.
Well, I like the tissue, but I like your shirt even better. How did you start going about this?
Well, a lot of times I regret working on just a white shirt, but white is definitely the color to work on to get pure color of your paint to show. So I was, what I wanted to do was cover up most of the white, and I have used masking tape, just regular masking tape, whatever I happen to have around, to block off areas of the shirt. And you can be much more meticulous, but it takes a little bit of time, so I'm not that careful. I just kind of try to make it work where it can.
Looks good to me.
Now, when you're going to paint a whole shirt with fabric paint, it's going to take too much paint.
And
so
going to be stiff as a board, isn't it?
And very stiff. So that's where this watercolor idea comes in. So what I'm going to do is take the paint, and no exact measurement required. And usually it takes, for the whole shirt, it'll take 2 or 3 bottles of this paint total. And I add a lot of water to it. I mean, a lot.
Oh my goodness,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
And it's not a problem. It holds up. You like my stirring stick?
Yeah, I do.
Thank you.
You're eating out lately, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, and then I like to use a wide brush. And sometimes I actually hold the paint over the shirt because it can get a little bit messy.
Now this isn't a regular.
This is French terry.
Oh, I was
but you
gonna
could use a cotton T-shirt. You can use a regular sweatshirt. I do think always when you're painting on garments that if it's natural fiber, it's going to take the paint better. And you know, I do live in the South, and if you don't wear natural fiber, you could die.
Yes.
So,
July anyway.
Oh yeah. So I tend to work on natural fibers. Now you just paint it like that. If you were to paint another square and start running out of paint and can't fill it in enough, you might take a spray bottle and mist it a little bit, and that'll make your paint start to run.
Oh,
it's just a good way to fill it in if you're running out of paint.
Now, when you go on here, though, Mary, then you're going to have a white thing when you pull the tape off.
You are, and I don't really like that. So I let this sit for all of 5 or 10 minutes till I paint all my red squares. I'll come back and pull off that tape and remask over the red. The masking tape won't stick that well because the paint's wet. Mm-hmm. You probably should let it dry, but I'm too impatient for that. And you'll see that the colors may bleed a little bit, but the tissue paper I copied was kind of funky and the colors bled a little bit.
Well, I love the way this looks over here. I mean, I really do. I think it's great. And I think we want to get on finishing that and then show some that aren't quite this wild, just in case you'd prefer not quite so wild. But we'll do that when we come back.
Okay.
Okay. For questions or comments, please write to The Carol Duvall Show, care of HGTV, Box 50970, Knoxville, Tennessee, 37950. Be sure to include the episode number as well as your daytime phone number. Welcome back. We are with Miss Mary O'Neill of Hot Potatoes, and Mary's doing the watercolor, wild and wonderfully colored sweatshirts, but actually we have some back here that aren't quite that wild.
Not quite that well, but I got wilder as I went along.
Was that it?
That happens to me.
Now, the first two that we have up here, you use the same masking technique?
I
that you
did
just
use the
showed us?
masking technique on those. I kind of got tired of working with blue, and I had to add a little bit of interest, and I was concerned that I might run out of paint as well. On the very first shirt with the peas on it, I did that little coral-colored border because some of the bleeding of the blue, I wanted to distract from that.
Well, you don't have to tell us that. It looks like it was an artistic decision that you made to make it look.
It was.
Yes. Now, the other two are totally, totally different, and I love that one with the paisley stamp on it.
Well, you know, I did that one because I think it's hard to find the color of shirts that I like that are in, 100% natural fiber, and I like those sort of funky colors, so I thought, well, I'll just make my own.
And you painted the whole shirt.
Painted the whole shirt.
Oh, and then and the one next to it too.
And I left a little bit of white spots in there just to get a little light behind those pears.
Well, they're great. Now let's finish back the one we started with, because now you're going to decorate this. The paint isn't dry yet, though.
I know, but I'm so impatient that none of these were dry when I did them, so it doesn't really matter at all.
Okay.
And I just go and stamp right on top of that sort of damp or wet paint. It doesn't seem to bother. But you do need to use colors that are going to show up, like yellow would just not even work on here at all. So you need to decide colors that would show. And see?
Oh,
good
that's
color.
perfect. Oh, and it doesn't seem to run. But on the other hand, the way you're doing this shirt, it would make any difference if it did run. We just pretend that's what it was supposed to be.
That's right, exactly. It's kind of wild, so it works perfectly.
Now, last time, Mary, you were saying when you took the tape off, that if you painted up to it, sometimes the colors ran in it, but you also mentioned something about moving the tape over. I didn't
Okay.
quite get that.
Okay, if I was to pull this up, see, I'm not want that to show. So the next thing I'll do, now I haven't watered this down, but I'm just going to use it out of the jar.
Okay.
It would use too much paint, but you can go and paint your stripe and fill in that white. So you could do out a blue block here. Now, like I said, this is going to be thicker paint. I would like that watercolor one.
Yeah.
But once again, you could spritz it and make it do that stuff.
But you also said something about moving the tape over.
Okay, so then what you could do is come back and tape over the red so that you don't have to be so precision oriented.
Okay, yes,
Right.
I see. All right, now I interrupted your stamping.
Oh, that's okay. And I was just going to point out one little thing for people that still haven't ventured into fabric stamping. Keep some toothpicks and Q-tips handy. Toothpicks are great for cleaning out little areas where too much paint may be getting in. And when you're working on sweatshirts, they're thicker fabric, so Q-tips are nice to swab up any extra paint before you stamp.
Okay, but this again is a cut and it's a lightweight, and what did you call it, a
French terry.
French terry shirt.
I like it better than a regular sweatshirt.
Well, I like the weight of it. Yeah,
Right.
You said, I think, down in Tennessee, you know, perhaps that you do need it
Right.
a little
You
bit
gotta-
cooler.
That's right. And I usually find my shirts somewhere like a bigger department store rather than the craft store. I can find more interesting body styles than I can at a craft store. So.
Oh, that looks really great. And speaking of which, I want to get a closer look over here at this one. I really love this, Mary. I really do.
Thanks.
And now here, all right, here's an example of what you were talking about when the colors run. But
Exactly, but I think that works. I think that was really
yes, because that
interesting.
red on the yellow made it that wonderful orange there.
But over here, I didn't really like where it bled, so I stamped a border over it, and nobody's the wiser that I didn't want it to happen. Plus, this shirt is so...
It's funky, it's fun, and I like your zigzag here across that too.
And my colors aren't natural, you know, blue stems on the cherries, things like that. It's just kind of wild.
This is the kind of a shirt and the kind of a careless look, let's put it, that you'd spend a fortune for. I think it's
you wanna buy it?
really. We'll dicker. Mary, thank you so much. Thanks to
you.
Jane Nesbitt as well as Mary O'Neill, and as always to you.